Namaste everyone. So for today's practice is a practice on love and cultivating love from the inside, so it radiates out. So filling the cup and giving the body some love. So join me, find yourself somewhere comfortable, whether seated or standing, some comfortable clothing to move. For those that are doing the standing practice, enough space to just kind of do a little bit of forward stepping. Don't be daunted. One thing at a time. Find yourself a comfortable place. Namaste. So let's start as ever with just our joint mobility opening, just circling them wrists and flexing the fingers. I have pretty much the same warm up with some variations each week because it means it drills the body. The body is aware when we do this. We're coming to a time of calmness, of connection with body and with breath. Really let the tops of the shoulders lead the movement. The lower arms are just following. And the other way. So the whole system can start to land more and more readily in the practice each time we warm up. And the other way. Just open back up that chest. Oh, lovely. Okay. So let's open up this top and sides of the neck. Always be careful with your own neck. So I always say be aware from the tailbone to the crown, lifting away from each other, a line of opposition, and only do what feels comfortable. You know your body best. So, hands in front of the abdomen. Owl spreads its feathers. We turn and look to the side. And come back to centre. We turn. We come back to centre. Now, with this one we kind of lift slightly from the tailbone as we open up. Fingertips drop down as if gravity is doing the movement. So we're not forcing or pushing anything. In Qigong we're finding the shape and then letting nature, gravity, connection, breath bring the magic. Just allow the breath and gravity to loosen, to soften the tops of the arms. Final time. We can hold this time for a few breaths. Don't hold your breath, hold the position. And back to centre. And back to centre. And a bit of a shake. And this one, always a favourite. Stork spreads its feathers, so again we're scooping that water and down to the sides. This one's lovely for releasing any tension or tightness that's carried on the tops of the shoulders. Although we might be doing less of this one as the winter turns to spring. I notice this one loosens me up, especially if I've been hunched if it's been cold. And for a final time we're going to bring those arms around. And this time, imagine a line of opposition from the crown to the tips of the fingers. We call it a line of duo, of opposition, which just holds and supports the integrity of the joints, the neck. So we imagine the crown lifting away from the fingertips. And then if it feels comfortable, you can just bring a slight roll from the front and back, always lifting, so we're not crunching in the neck. And it's just to release any tension or tightness from the tops of the shoulders and opening right the way through the arms. If it feels comfortable, you can bring the chin down and round to the other side, maintaining that line of opposition between the crown and the opposite fingers. You know your neck best. Only do things that feel good and supportive of your system. Lovely. So hopefully feeling a little bit looser in the top of the body. So let's go to our waist. Do them hip circles. Just a very slight and subtle movement. In Chinese medicine they say there's one movement to do. It's opening up this belt region, that core, spiraling around the body. There's a meridian that goes around, they call it the belt channel. The rest of them go up and down the body. And this one kind of hugs and holds it all together. And it's just lovely to bring awareness to the core or centre And the deepen gong, that's where we start and end the practice. So our bodily energy is held in this region, the jing. Right. So let's open up the tray of teacups. So the palms are up over your head, fingers facing behind, and we go to the top corner, opposite corner, opposite, opposite. So we're doing this figure of 8, top to bottom, bottom to top. And then when you feel comfortable with that, you can bring in the hips. So the hips go forward when the hands go back. Hips go back to create space when the hands come down. And again, you can imagine this spiral coming right the way in from the tips of the toes, right the way through the legs, the core, the waist, the chest, right the way through the upper body and the arms. And the other way, so top to bottom, bottom to top, top corner, bottom corner, other corner, to the top. This one lovely for getting that spiraling movement going through the body, which is how nature, the trees grow. Got some trees with gorgeous barks that literally twist right the way around as they've grown. Final time. To the top. And this time we're just going to take the hands and push them down. Imagine pushing into the bottom corners of your room. And again, just to open up the tops of the shoulders, open up through the arms. Lovely. And to the legs. So for those that are seated, you can just run your arms up and down, bringing some awareness through the lower body. Just to wake up those legs, wake up the quads, and bring some grounding into the body. Let's go to the knees. You can do this with the knees either wider apart, circling in opposite directions, or together, circling the same direction. Find what feels good. Sometimes I've got sensitive knees, so I meet my body where it's at every day. A little bit forward and back to open that movement. Lovely. Okay, so final one, and often forgotten, the shins. And if you have the pleasure of practicing barefoot, really let them toes flex. I'm flexing them even inside my shoes. Bit of a shake. And the other one. And again, a bit of balance, a bit of presencing and grounding. Meet yourself where you're at. A lot of humility in this practice. Okay, so now that we've opened up all of the joints, let's just open up the spine and the centre. So there's different ways we can open up the spine. We're going to start with that spinal breathing, and this is a lovely one to support the body into its parasympathetic, its rest, its digest, its recharge phase. So we bring the arms up, we open the chest, and we breathe out. Arms come together, the forearms at the front, bring in a bit of a rounding, whatever feels comfortable to you. So we open up with the in-breath, and we exhale. And if you felt tighter in the back body, you could breathe in at this point and breathe out here. So find what feels good today for you. I'm going to breathe in the opening. Keeping a slight lift through the crown, really letting the spine articulate. Letting the chest open fully, a slight lift of the head. And at this point we start to ground into the practice, maybe the movement slows slightly. Noticing how your body feels. The opening in the chest and the arms. Final couple of times. This is one I do pretty much every night before bed, especially when the day's been busy, until I notice my mind's less active. I'm starting to yawn a bit more, feel a bit more tired, settled. opening that back body, and release. Okay, so let's open to the spinal twist. So for those that are standing, we can come into our Mabu position, which is the wide-legged, and we can get there from Wuji, kind of shoulder width apart, and we take the toes out, then we take the heels out, then we take the toes out and straighten. Okay, so it's about that kind of width, a horse stance they call it. So from here we can bring the hands to the legs. Those that are seated, leaning slightly forward but keeping the spine nice and straight, and all we're going to do is drop the right shoulder as we turn and look over the left. Now we're keeping the spine straight, so my head and my spine are staying in one position, and I'm turning like a spit on a joint. So I'm turning on that rotation. So I'm not craning to look over to either side, I'm staying centered in the middle, and I'm just inviting a slight twist. So I'm dropping the left shoulder as far as feels comfortable, looking around to my side or behind me. So dropping the right shoulder, looking over the left, keeping nice and centered in the middle, keeping a lift in the crown, line of opposition between the crown and the tailbone, and that's just to bring a bit of a twist to the spine. So let's knock on the door of life, let's wake the body up a little bit, and this is a lovely one. We can start with water waves, and this is a lovely one to do at the evening or any time you've got a busy mind, to just empty the mind out. Imagine the hands running through water, the thoughts literally washing through your mind and emptying out the tips of your fingers. Again, slight twist in the spine, slight lift of the crown. So it's bringing a bit of opening into the spine, softness down the arms and through the fingertips. You can bring your mind in and really imagine how it feels for your fingers to wash through water, to wash through something thicker. See if that changes the quality of the movement. See if that changes how it feels. We'll slow that down. Slow that down, and again just notice how we feel. Okay, so let's just do, I'm going to do a bit of a chest opener, and this is a grounding one for the lower body. For those that are seated, just do the upper body portion of this movement. So the hands will come arms across, and they'll come up over the head and out to the sides. Pushing again to imagine pushing into more the corners of the room. So the arms will come up over the head and down, and there'll be a slight lift of the chest, a slight looking up. Find what feels comfortable. Okay, so for those that are standing, we're going to take a foot forward into a kind of lunge stance. Find a depth position, whether you want wider for more balance or narrower. Find what feels good. Meet yourself where you're at today. So the arms cross, and this is the inner gate. This is like the protective shield, they call it. So connecting our defensive, our boundaries, bringing that over the head, and then taking the arms out down to the side, opening up at the chest. So it's bringing a bit of an opening into the hip flexor. We lift as we come up, and a bit of an opening into the chest. So it's helping us open in the heart and the chest, and at the same time we're in that protective, that boundary, setting healthy boundaries, connecting to the world from that balanced place, creating space for ourselves, and from that place we can share, we can open up to the world. So I'll show you from this so you can see the hands. Final time. And this time the hands are going to come up, then when we get to here, we're going to bring them back to normal and down. Just do a couple of tidy opening. Just to reset. before we go to the other side. So stepping forward with the other leg now. Those that are seated, you can repeat this, bringing awareness just to the leg that would have been in the front. Where the mind goes, energy flows. So we'll bring the arms in front. So it's kind of like rolling the inner arm becomes the outer arm. Over the head, and then it's like opening the chest. You might feel it's like opening the hip flexor. So we lift slightly and then we sink and open. So from that strong place of inner boundaries, we open up the heart, open up to the world. Grounded and connected in the lower body, and open at the heart. Final time. Then we step up, arms cross, and they turn, and then we just bring them to the sides and down. Okay, let's just do another couple of Tai Chi openings, just to reset the body. So the legs are in Wuji stance now. Lovely. Okay, so now that we've opened up the body, we're going to just dredge the channels, so have a good clear out of the body, and we'll go into Wuji and a couple of flows to finish. So for this dredge the channels, we're going to start with the yin channels, which is on the inside of the body. So imagine an animal, it's on the inside of an animal, right? You've got the cat, the inner body, and then you've got the outer body. So this is yin, that's yang, broadly speaking. So we're going to start, we're going to take our hands, we're going to take them to the insides of the feet, and we're going to just trace them up the inside of the legs. We're going to cross over at the abdomen. We're going to trace up to the armpits, and then we're going to trace down the inside of the arms. We're going to scrunch our hands up over the head and release. So imagine we're washing in out like through a gutter. So again, from the inside of the feet, up the insides of the legs, up to the abdomen, across the abdomen, up the sides, to the armpit, down the inner arms, hands come up over the head, and we release. You can have a little bounce after each one. So, final, we'll do that one more time as a demonstration together, and then we'll do the yang. So we come up the inside, we wash across the abdomen, clearing out the gutters. Lovely. So the yang channels are on the outside of the arms. So we start with our hands, if that's available to you, wrapping it over the outer arms. Otherwise, start where you can on the outer arms. We're just washing up the outer arms and up the side of the head. We go over the head, down the sides, to the back of the legs, all the way down the back of the legs and down to the tops of the feet. And again, we scrunch the hands up and release. So we start with the outer arms. Arms come down and along, up to the side of the head, over the head, down the side body, down the back of the body, all the way down to the feet, to the tops of the feet. Final time. Outer arm. Up to the shoulder, the neck, to the top of the head, down the sides of the head, down the side body, down the back body, to the toes, we lift and release. So we might revisit that one in the coming weeks. So, and we'll do them yin and followed by yang 3 times rather than individually, but it's easier to teach this way the first time. So now that we've cleared the channels, we're going to have a good shake the tree again and get ourselves ready for Wuji. So feet are slightly shoulder width. Those that are seated, you can just gently bounce up and down into the sits bones, finding what feels good. And this is the point we start to really connect to the body, really tune into, is there anywhere that's still holding any tension or tightness, even though we've had a bit of an opening. Just bring awareness to that place and giving it permission to release. You can support that with the breath. Just imagine breathing into that place And with the exhale, imagine any tension or tightness releasing. Really let them fingers and wrists flick, especially if you've been using a lot of technology. It can be nice to bring some opening to this part of the body. And the gentler we do this, the more we can sustain it, the longer we can sustain. So people do this from 30 seconds up to a few minutes. And it's just like a full body massage, a full body release. With babies, I often say with babies we tap them, we rock them. And I feel like this is doing the same thing for the whole body. Just releasing any tension, any tightness, any frustration or trapped emotions. Notice how that feels in your body. So I'm really imagining my shoulders dropping down the back body because they're still feeling a bit tense. I'm maintaining that lift in the crown. I'm dipping from the tailbone, so I'm not putting too much pressure on my legs. I'm aware from this place. Today, part of me wants to kind of turn slightly on my spine, find what feels good for you. You can just stay straight on. And you can even imagine the banging of the heel, the vibration going right the way through the legs. Sometimes my knees feel quite tight and I'm very gently just bounce, in case that can help soothe, support, never pushing into strong discomfort, just seeing what movement might feel good. The body is so intuitive. A little bit longer, slowing it down, noticing how we feel. Find a few nice deep exhales if you need them. Sighing with that loud that's also got stress relieving benefits. And then we slow it down and come to stillness in our Wuji stance. The tailbone's dipping down slightly, the crown slightly lifted, and we're just noticing how we feel in the whole body. The crown's lifted, chin slightly tucked. Imagine a line of opposition between the tail and the crown. My knees are slightly bent, so the tops of my legs are a bit active. Those that are seated grounding down through the sits bones. And allowing your breath to soften, to sink into the chest, into the abdomen, wherever your stomach, wherever your breath lands is fine. Allowing, accepting the body to be where it's at. We just offer an invite for the breath to sink, and then we watch. Letting the shoulders relax down the back body, feeling the hands like drum skins slightly stretched. And this is Wuji, so this is the stance they call the highest state of nothing. So it's that place we come to feel empty and also to feel refilled. So state of mind is one of calm. We can bring the mind to anchor into the breath or into this abdomen level. In this Wuji position, we're concentrating on the lower abdomen, on building up bodily energy, which in Chinese medicine they believe is stored around the door of life, the kidney kind of region. Just take what resonates for you, otherwise just focus on the breath. Focus on how you're feeling in your body. Just another 30 seconds and we'll move on to our flow. Okay, so hands come together and down. Let's just open up with the fountain. Let's get the whole body opening and loosened. So this isn't as exaggerated as when we stretch. This is just a gentle lift. Imagine a wave coming from the tips of the toes and from tailbone up through the chest. Imagine water washing out the fingertips. So this is a really nice gentle one. Opening up at the front and back body slightly and just supporting the circulation, the energy to just flow freely through the body. Supporting our water channels, which nourish the brain. The kidneys. Just let the water channels flow freely. Nice gentle movement. Final couple of times. You can slow this one down. Always work with your own breath. Everyone's breath will be different. Final time. Come back to Wuji. Take a couple of deep breaths. This time we're going to have one hand over the top of the other. And this top hand is going to come round to the side. Imagine we're rolling a ball in our hands. Okay, so you've got a basketball in your hands. We're going to roll it. And then this hand is going to turn outwards around kind of the forehead level. We're going to push through at the heart level. And then imagine the palms are connected on this ball. When one arm goes to that side, the other comes to the other. Turn this hand to face outward and push through from the heart level. So this one we're imagining like the warmth of the sun coming in. For those that have got heart conditions, imagine like a really nice soft pink. Feeling the warmth of the sun coming in through the heart. That arm turns and push through. Again, the ball. Lift. Arm turn faces outwards. So breathe in. Arm turns and we breathe out. So this is one to just cleanse the heart. Imagine the warmth of the sun coming in through the side body and through the heart. Final couple of times. Final time. And to the other side, even it up. And the arms come back to Wuji, noticing how we feel. Just resetting, letting the breath land in the body. Letting the shoulder blades relax down, crown lifts, tailbone sinks. And we're centering. So we're going to take both arms up and imagine purple light just washing through the body. Settling, integrating. Smoothing the field now, smoothing the body. Bring the practice to a close. Mind, body, calm, relaxed. You can imagine to keep the mind in the practice like purple light just washing through every part of the body. Soothing, softening, relaxing. You can imagine breathing in whatever quality of energy you need today, whether it's positivity, energy, peace. Just imagine that washing right the way through. A couple more times. Final time. And this time the legs come closer together, the arms come over, the hands come over each other. And bring them over the abdomen. Take a few abdominal breaths. Circling up the right hand side and down the left. Bring it to a centre. Legs fully together. Slight bend in the knees, lift of the crown, bamboo sways in the wind, so we just let the body gently rock and sway. Still aware from the tailbone to the crown, that line of opposition. Still aware of the shoulders melting down the back body, a slight lift in the front body. Aware to lift slightly from the core so the legs aren't taking all the pressure. Just full body awareness. And noticing how you feel compared to when you started the practice. In mind, in body, emotions. Allow yourself to take one final nice breath, giving thanks to yourself for taking this time and this practice, this connection with breath, with body. Final circle, and release with an audible sigh. Namaste everyone, thank you for joining, and we'll see you next time. Until then, take good care. Bye for now.